Yeah.
Hey, everybody!
Oh my God, it's Bobby and me with Opie. What's going on?
Oh,
What is
man.
up? We had
Opie.
a great weekend. That God, I keep getting it wrong.
Yeah,
This
dude.
guy laying down the dub in Road
Yep.
Atlanta. Dustin and I are back from our trip.
Yeah.
What an amazing time. We will go over that later.
Dude, let's talk about that real quick. Like, I flew out with the race team to Road Atlanta, and you and I connected over the weekend. We had a great time driving around the pit, watching the races from various areas. We actually watched Andrew stalking, so we're gonna talk
Yes,
a little bit about that because, dude,
yes.
like, you're quite the stalker there, all the way to the end, and holy shit, dude, you got yourself a W, and
We
it's
were.
pretty impressive there.
I got to show Dustin my all my spots for watching because we haven't been at a track together. So,
Dude, it was like 10 in the morning. That guy had a Budweiser in his cozy already, dude.
oh yeah, that's how my homies roll.
You're a fan. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's how my homies roll. Yeah, all the crazies and that other guy. Yeah.
Cold breakfast sandwich guy.
Oh, Mark. Yeah, Mark Peroni.
Yeah.
We had oh my gosh, those guys are great. I love those dudes. They're a riot all through turn 3 and 4 down into the end by the pit marshal stand, whatever. So, yeah, it was a great time. So, let's roll right into World Superbike because we're kind of just going to talk a couple things.
World Superbike happened. Okay,
yeah,
MotoAmerica.
It happened.
I mean, shit, Bob. Like, we've been on the road, dude. Like, I haven't had time to watch. I just got home yesterday afternoon.
I figured we glance over it just with just a little bit from what I was able to watch. Top Rack, he's still behind the 8 ball. I want to know from the chat is it Nicola Buliga's championship to lose now, because he just looks like such a stud out there, man. He is just rolling on that Ducati, and he is. I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough one. He's already 34 points ahead.
And really quick, we've already got Chunky Bun's first comment in the chat.
Yep.
We got John Righty in the chat. The usual suspect already going to be going at it.
John Righty was harassing me all weekend, and I was harassing him all weekend.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
He was.
He's literally on the job.
John Righty harassing people? No.
But he was
the hell you say.
He was busted ass. He was busting his ass all weekend, man, fixing bikes and all kinds of stuff. Oh, we got our homie.
We got our mega buddy over there from Virginia.
Proper mega.
Dude, you went straight to proper mega. You're supposed to go mega first, right? Like, sort of like the.
I thought it was
dare,
proper.
Dog dare,
then,
dog dare. You know,
it's proper, then mega, then proper mega.
Yeah, whatever, dude. We're talking about Chris Simcoe. Simcoe from Pendergast. Yeah, with his hot pink shirt.
Oh, we got Trevor Watson in the chat.
Oh yeah, we got the. Oh yeah. Oh wow, dude.
Yeah.
You know what? Chunky Bun says something true that I recognize exactly what she's saying. Like, totally feeling old because we remember when Andrew looked like pre-pubescent. Dude, I can remember when Andrew was rolling around and he was like all helmet. Like his helmet was bigger than he was.
Little bobblehead.
Yeah, dude. You've been in this game for a minute, huh? Like, how old are you now?
26.
26. And how long have you been professionally racing, Andrew?
I think my first pro race was in 2015 at Utah Motorsports Park. Miller. Really.
Were you on a?
Yeah.
It'll always be Miller.
Were you on a 400
I was on an R6 back then.
You were an R6, yeah. I remember the R6 days.
Oh, racing
like the Junior Cup time.
Stock 600.
Yep, Stock 600. Yeah, wasn't very prosperous, but we made it happen.
That was a
dude. I remember you and your dad everywhere, man. I became pretty good friends with your dad over the years, and kind of checked in with him and back and forth. When you were doing the CVMA shit, like riding with you, like I kind of got fast myself at Chuckwalla because of you fucker.
You're welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, just following you, just trying to keep you in sight, you know?
Yeah.
So
No, it's cool.
Well,
yeah,
and then in World Super Sport, we had the R9 up there, and I was really stoked to see the Triumph number 2. So being a Triumph guy, that was awesome. But that was really tight, really tight.
I want to touch on that thing that you said, though.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, because with Nico Boliga, I feel like the guys definitely has the outright speed. It's more so about reliability.
yeah.
I mean, that Ducati, I mean,
It's had a couple of failures, right?
It has, yeah. And so I don't really know any details on the BMW, but I mean, that Ducati's moving. You go to a tight track and it's still up front. It's not really, I mean, it's always been known to win at fast tracks, but it's also winning at tight tracks. So it's one of those things where it's like you said, it might be his championship to lose, but I would almost argue it was again last year too.
Yeah. Yeah. Top Rack was just on it last year. He just looked different. Like he just looked like he was once he got that thing to where he needed it to be, he was unstoppable. Dude was just rocking and rolling. Even with the deficit and the getting injured, he still was able to win it all. So,
right. Yeah.
Now it's the other way around. And it's actually Ducati's championship to lose because they're the ones that are working on the bike. The kid can get it done once the bike is underneath them. So
yeah, those guys, you know, they've had the front for so long. It was shocking to see the mechanicals that they've had, you know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they're having fuel issues too. You know, I don't know. I mean, you're seeing the BMW struggling. It looks like, you know, I think ever since they've taken away the special frame, you know, Top Rack struggled. And I was curious, you know, I talked to we talked to Uribe on the show before, and he was talking about the way that you have to ride the BMW is quite a bit different. Do you want to talk about a little bit about that, and maybe talk about some of the concerns that you guys have had handling wise and things that you've had to address?
Yeah, I mean that BMW. I mean, I've only ever rode a stock 1000 version of it, but I think even just in its form, you just have to ride the thing hard. Like it's not something that you kind of roll into. It's a bike that you have to hammer, which I think is why Top Rack does so well on it.
Yeah.
Is you ride the thing hard. I mean that guy's not known for treating bikes right. I'm pretty sure there's stories from the past where he was snapping head tubes, right? So
Right.
he's not known for gentle rider inputs. So
No.
The BMW is definitely a hard ride,
You
but
in the chat. Stop looking at the chat, Bobby.
Sorry, it's on my right side.
Yeah, you ride it hard. But yeah, I mean, I think that's every superbike, though. Frankly, I don't think there's any superbike. I mean, the whole point of a lot of the modifications is to make it rigid, so you can ride it harder.
Yeah.
Nothing in the chat there, so we'll
Well,
keep
maybe,
moving.
yeah. Well, maybe, you know, maybe without the concession frame that they had, I don't know what all they had done, but maybe it's just not. It's not rigid. Like it's not able to be ridden as hard as last year's bike. Maybe for Top Rack's liking.
Do you know anything? I heard about the concessions, but I didn't honestly know any.
It was completely different chassis, dude.
Like it was like basically a prototype chassis.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they probably put a bunch of gussets in it, and
yeah.
One of the things that sticks out to me from something that Uribe said, I think he said you almost got to ride the BMW like a dirt tracker, almost like kind of steer the thing with the back wheel a bit.
Yeah, that thing spins up a lot. But I think again, maybe not so much on the Superbike.
Okay.
I think that's why
electronics and everything.
Well, I think that's why you put the swing arm on. Is it kind of adds a little bit more mechanical grip that maybe you don't have with the stock geometry.
Okay.
See, and then even Jay and I ride differently. So our setups from bike to bike are a little bit different. So,
yeah, we were watching at a couple of areas in Stock 1000, and you guys definitely do have completely different styles. Like your style, I mean, your style, not this is a bad thing or anything. Your style's kind of Pridmore-ish, kind of like maybe it's because you're one of his coaches. I don't know, right? Whereas Uribe's more like hang it out there, you know?
yeah, it's I got a cool message on Friday afternoon. I don't know, the guy never came up and introduced himself, but he had a camera evidently and took a photo, and it was either on an in lap or I'm the most boring person to ever watch ride a motorcycle because I just looked like I was cruising around the racetrack. I was like, man, I'm riding hard. I'm pushing out there. It's not like I'm just cruising around, but yeah, it's a little Pridmore-esque.
We were watching, and you probably had the best seat in the house for this, but your teammate, dude, every time he'd go up the hill, like towards the end of the lap, dude, out of that right-hander, man, he would rear of the bike was pumping like crazy, and I was like, how is he hanging on to that thing? And he never lifted. The thing is like all the way up the hill. Like
Jay rides hard, man. Like that is one thing. Like I've been riding. So Jay and I have been racing each other for at least 15 years, and we've been racing the exact same way. And that's just him, man. He rides hard, and it's like my wheels are a little bit more in line than he is. But
right.
Yeah, it's like,
why you gotta be so boring, dude?
I don't have it in me. You should watch me ride motocross. It's the same thing. I'm like, can I be entertaining at all in the slightest? It's not happening.
Okay, I mean,
not entertaining is safe.
Well, I mean, the redheaded kid here did win a race this past weekend, so whatever his boring shit's working.
Exactly. Exactly.
No drama. He's like the no drama guy.
Yeah.
He's not getting into trouble. Not getting into social media beefs.
Speaking of wins, we can touch real quick on a certain bet that might have paid out last week. Marquez crashed and did not finish the race in first. His brother won, and that was a big deal. And I was curious what your guys' opinion on whether or not this was just a simple error or was it pressure mounting?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing with Marquez is like, so I've always been a Marquez guy personally, but he just kind of does stuff like that. And I honestly didn't think that he would be doing it as often. I mean, the Coda one.
Yeah, that was a big one. He was out
running over that inside curb in the wet lap after lap. I mean, the probabilities aren't like, I'm not an actuary, but doing the math here, it ain't going to work in your favor every time. And it's not a 6-lap race. So, and then Jerez, again, same thing. You just don't really, the guy's got the speed, and I think a third place is going to pay you better than a 0. So I'm surprised that he would. It's actually surprising to me, especially with his tenure.
I think he just wants to win at all costs. Is he that dude? Do you think?
Yeah.
He's like either gonna. I think Robbie on the attack team, Robbie said it best. He said something like, on it or in it with regards to the box. Like, is he going to be on the box or in the box? Like, meaning he sends his bike home in one.
Yeah, I mean, the shout out to the Motorsport Republica guys out in Australia. They, the one guy was talking about how the looming injury from Jerez and there's probably some sort of PTSD there when he's riding around with Jerez. That, sure, that popped in his brain a little bit because he crashed not in the same spot, but he was not as hard riding through the pack as he did back in 2020 when he crashed again, right? So he went off, then he got back up. He rode like a complete maniac and just was like barreling through people, trying to get up as far as he could, and that's what got him hurt. Now, this time, he sat behind a leash for probably 3 laps before he passed him, and he doesn't sit behind people.
Right.
So I figured that was in the back of his brain too. That was a good point brought up by those guys. So we'll see. Lamont is this weekend, so
yeah,
I'm gonna check the weather. But
rookies are going there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So since I'm the guy that always talks about the rookies, we got to give props to KDJR, dude.
Yeah.
Christian Daniel throwing down. He was in a pretty good scrap on the first race, and he went for it and ended up crashing and taking another dude out. And then he gets up
it's part of the class.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you know how close those guys are. And then obviously race 2, he has this epic scrap. Last couple laps, dude, he goes back to like 5th place and he's in the battle and still ends up on the box. So cool. So cool. So proud of that kid.
Epic.
I think that's one of the hardest. I mean, that class or that style, Moto 3. I mean, to be even competitive in that podium battle is insane. Like the difficulty to do that. So, I mean, that's a major props. Like, good for him.
That's a big deal. Big deal.
Yeah. I mean, Christian is, I think he's gotten himself a wild card ride in that. I don't know what the hell they're calling it now. Is it?
Oh, the pre-Moto 3 and CEV?
Yeah, it's like the Junior Moto 3, whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ETC. I don't know. It's one
CEV?
of those.
Is it CEV?
Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be. I think it's called Junior GP now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I'd probably pre-Moto 3, but I mean, I think historically, I forgot the kid I met last year when Mallory, there was this kid that came over, raced a World Super Sport 300 race, but he was one of the Australian kids.
Yeah.
I think historically, a lot of those Red Bull Rookies Cup kids come over and do another series, and they just absolutely hammer. Like they ride hard, man. And so I think that kid first 300 race went out and won. So I want to see that. I've never met KDR, but obviously, representing America, we want to see the kid do well. So I'm hoping. Do you know when that is?
What?
His wild card.
I think it was last weekend.
Oh, was it? It already happened?
I think so. Yeah. Like, I think he DNF'd in one of them, I think. But he was, I mean, he made quite the progression, like the first session out, he was like 20 something. Then the very next session, he was like 11th. So the kid's getting some.
Yeah.
The kid's getting
awesome.
some. So,
that's awesome.
And just, you know what? I want to hit up the chat here because there's some extra faces here. I see the Attack Yamaha Ed in the chat. Rick Davis. He's in the chat and he's talking about Bobby's fresh new hat.
Yeah.
Wonder where he got that.
Dustin gave it to my daughter. He gave it to me, and then my daughter claimed it. So,
well, I was not about to let you. I was not about to let you hang out in our pit with a stupid Triumph hat. So that was not going to happen. Especially considering like it is the Yamaha team.
Yeah, I know. So, and I put the hat away.
Yeah, and then we got Short Guy Moto talking about podiums and crash trucks. Fast Lane J.
Yeah, we got some new people in the chat, which I'm loving.
Fast Lane J says, cool move coming down the hill. That was exciting.
Which we're about to get into. We are about to get into that right now.
And then C Chief 249 said it was nice meeting me at Road Atlanta. Thanks, dude. And then he said he never saw Andrew in the race, but congrats on the win, bro. I don't know who that is, but cool.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, man.
So Dustin and I, we were what?
Oh,
you gotta go. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, well, let's talk about the weekend, dude. Like one of the things I noticed over the course of the weekend, just walking around and comparing it from last year.
Yeah.
Dude, there was like a massive amount of people there compared to that. Like
Oh,
last year, the place was pretty empty, I thought. By comparison, dude, it was like it took a while to get out of there. I was like, holy shit, there's traffic jam. This is great.
Yeah,
It
was awesome. We
the fans were everywhere too. I mean, it was like in the pit, up in the fan zone, like on the other side of the racetrack, on all the hills. Like there was people freaking everywhere, and it was the best thing ever. I'm stoked to see that.
It was a lot of fun cruising around with Charlie and the golf cart and Zoe, and we were all just kind of, we got that awesome good GoPro footage that Dustin's got. Like, what you got? Like a couple days to. Oh, there's Mallory, fresh from Cremona. So, just engaging with everybody was such a blast. We had so much fun, and being able to take you to the different parts of the track that I'm used to, watching from or seeing and all that stuff, and you haven't really seen it all, was fun because it was the first time we really got to hang out and in my home area. So, it was a blast. And then we did the live, or we did the, posted up and did a podcast with High Rev Trev.
GoPro podcast.
Yeah, GoPro podcast with High Rev Trev with Chris Simcoe.
We'll see how that looks on camera, but
yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it turns out. We had a bunch of fan interviews that we just were able to bring people over, and then it was so much fun. It went by way too fast. It went by way too
what?
fast.
I think the Sea Chief 249, dude. I think that's Jordan Eubanks.
Oh, got it.
He was on that R1 that had the vintage graphic on the side. Actually, dude, check this out. I was going to talk about this anyway, but dude gave me a poster.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was like, yeah, dude, go fast, take chances.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, Jordan used to race for my buddy Kyrie Ford, who had a Indian. So he raced the Indian in Super Hooligans. So it's good to see him in stock 1000.
Is it just me? But dude, I'm still thinking that Hooligans class is nuts, dude. I love that class.
Awesome.
Dude, those guys are stabbing each other in the neck, dude, and it's amazing. So
here's the crazy part. If you were to take out the Harleys, it's anybody's game. Like, it is. If you take out the Harleys, you got all the different other bikes. They were all together. I mean, you got Dom Doyle, Jason Waters,
the Saddleman team, and they're all what are the Pan America, whatever that thing is.
Yeah, the Pan Americans.
That looks nothing like the Pan America. I mean, there's literally like nothing.
No,
the engine. That's what it.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's those guys at the front belong at the front, and they'd probably be at the front on whatever else they were riding.
Yeah.
Like, can we say hi, Mal? Like,
yeah, we can hear you guys.
Hi, Mal. The other thing is, like, and Chunky Bones brings it up, is the Arch team. Like their bike looks so cool, and
oh my gosh,
certainly their results they're probably not what they want, but at the same time, they're jumping in the deep end of the pool with bikes that they're fully developed and have been being developed for a while, and they're showing up to the party and kind of learning as they go.
Yeah,
but man, I sure think it's awesome to see there. I mean, I walked by it. I actually talked to Gar one time over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
And like he was hands-on, changing the clutch and the thing or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, hell awesome. Yeah, brother. So
no, it was good to see Keanu there too. That was kind of cool. So hanging out with some kids and stuff, and they had a bar across, like a fancy ass bar across the way from their pit, like one of their sponsors, some whiskey sponsor or whatever.
Yeah, they got a whiskey sponsor. Yeah,
I was like, that was one thing I did notice. Like the last couple times I went in 21 and 23 and 20, I did not see the bars like I did this time, because they had the bar up across from the fan zone.
Yeah.
and that was interesting. And then they had the bar down in Keanu's spot, and I was like, okay, everybody's having a good time. This is cool. This is cool.
Right. Yeah,
so,
it's just, I mean, obviously with the baggers, you bring a lot of those Harley folks, and we talked to some of them on our little chat, right?
Oh, shout out to Bumpus Harley in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Okay.
Those dudes at the lunch table that we were hanging out with on Sunday.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, those guys said they were going to check out the show. So if he ends up jumping on Bumpus Harley in Murfreesboro, they were really cool dudes. So
yeah, I mean, I know that most of the manufacturers have kind of gotten away from the alcohol and tobacco and firearms type sponsors.
Yeah.
Andrew Lee is he's not shy about having firearm sponsors.
Yep.
He's had them before.
But
I
almost bought some products.
I mean, it just seems like there needs to be a new source of income that's not just the same old stuff,
And speaking of wildly, Dustin and I were cruising around just checking people out, and we were talking to the Bass Pro Shops guy because they had a 10x10 up there. We're like, what are you guys doing here? And they're like, well, we're here doing market research. I was like, what? Yeah. So they were checking out the local Lawrenceville store was there checking out MotoAmerica.
Dude, Bass Pro Shops on the list, dude. I mean, I know that those guys, they're marketing guys, those guys, and they seem pretty receptive to the idea,
Well, they were from the store. They were from the store. They weren't like corporate or nothing. They were just there checking things out. I thought that was
kicking
pretty
the temperature, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I got the impression they liked what they saw. They liked the vibe in the pits, all that. So,
well, and the other thing is that we have what do you call it? Oh man, I lost my train of thought. Anyways, they were super cool. Dustin and I have been talking on Saturday because we were chatting with Jake Zemke about it and just trying to figure out what is the vibe, that's what I remember. The guy from the store said a bunch of the riders were all club members, were Bass Pro Shop club members, and they were like, man, all those riders are all involved. Like, we need to jump on this. So
yeah. I mean, I think it'd be great to see giant Bass Pro Shops on the side of the semi. Yeah, that'd be neat.
Andrew's struggling.
What are you shaking your head about, Andrew?
He's struggling with his headphone and mic setup, I think.
I don't know. He's laughing and shaking his head. He's on mute. He's in and out, dude. His chick's in the background talking shit, I'm sure.
Right? No, she's trying to help him out. She's trying to help him out.
She's making funny faces what she's doing, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like keep swapping headphones like he's playing musical chairs. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh,
there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see?
Good.
Mal Dobbs. Thanks
you.
for the IT support for Andrew. Like, I mean, she's gonna jump in and talk about the women's race in the R7, right?
I know.
Jeez.
There we go. We're going hardwired.
You'll be all right, dude.
See, hardwired is where it's at.
Yeah, like I have a cable that just kind of charges these things. That's yeah. So, what are you saying, Andrew? You gonna say something?
He started to. It sounds.
Does my mic work?
Now it does.
Yeah, bro, your mic works. Keep talking, dude. What are you doing? That's the show. Everybody, this is the professionalism of this particular show.
You're good, dude.
Because none of them work.
Dude, we can hear you.
But I can't hear
you. I got you. Oh, he can't hear us.
Oh.
Yeah,
we can hear you. You can't hear. Okay.
The mic works. Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is So the mic's working, but the headphones don't. So I can't hear anything you guys are saying
anymore.
We will talk in sign language.
Should we just start? I got one of these notepad things. We can get old school.
Just write it down. Transcript. Do you guys know ASL? Can we just do some American Sign Language?
Oh man. Yeah, John Ridey puts out a good point. Like, it's a good thing that that Andrew rides a motorcycle. Like, you know, at least he knows how to ride a motorcycle. Kid's dumb as a box of rocks, but man, he rides a motorcycle like legit.
No, I can't hear shit.
Yeah, we need a closed caption for him. Oh man, Andrew, should we kick you out, dude? Like, try again, dude.
Here,
anyway.
We'll post it in the chat. We'll post it in the chat.
Yeah, post it in the chat, dude.
I'll watch the stream.
It's like delayed though.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. So let's. Yeah. Never a dull moment. Thank you, Chunky Puns.
Yeah. Can you re-invite me? I think it's just the stream itself.
Just here. Let me kick you out and just click on that same link again, dude.
He can't hear you.
You know what? I'm gonna kick him from the studio.
Yeah.
And then he can jump in, like whatever, dude.
Yeah.
So, you know, walking around, talking to those fans, the Harley guys were aplenty.
They were, you know, okay. So those two guys that we interviewed, that had never been, but the one guy like rode a Harley. He's like, I'm here for the baggers. And
he was like 3 Diet Coors in.
Yeah.
At least at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
You know, the thing is that there were a ton of Harley dudes there, and they were there to watch King of the Baggers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the problem? Yeah, they leak oil. Hey, guess what? They moved him to the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, dude, you know,
and those, think about it. All those Harley guys had to stay all the way to the end to watch the races, which to me is the smartest thing. Because
they got to introduce them to the Superbikes and
exactly. Right. So
I mean, most of the Harley guys are pretty much do or die. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Ride to live Harley. They got Harley tattoos. You know,
yeah,
like,
they don't care. They don't care about the Superbikes. Like,
but
they're watching their bagger.
But Tim P points out that baggers are keeping MotoAmerica going, and I don't know if the numbers are the viewership numbers. I don't think that's true 100%. I think Superbike is still the top draw. Andrew, do you hear us now, bro?
It works, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, bro. Good job, Mal.
Tech support. Yeah.
Yeah. And Andrew, don't feel bad, man. This happened to both of us before. You know, you got Taco Bell internet moment. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Right. Yeah, we're back. We're back.
Right.
At least you're not in a van like Bobby Fong.
Yeah.
He's in a van down by the Taco Bell getting the internet off of the
at the Canadian at the Canadian border. Right?
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so you know what? Really
let's
quick.
Get into it. No, we gotta get into it.
We gotta get into the one more thing. It's world level stuff. The tragic accident that that cost us Shane Richardson and Owen Jenner. Yeah. So I guess there was a big 11 rider pile up, and you know, unfortunately, 2 riders passed. I didn't know Owen, but I remember Shane Richardson, dude. Like that rode with us at Chuckwalla a couple times back in the day, right?
Yes.
He had that Cowie.
Yeah, I met him. I met him in 2017 at Awera National at New Jersey, and him and Seth, who's also a very accomplished rider in New Zealand, was wrenching for him, and they were traveling around the country. I was following him from Daytona when he did the 200, and they were actually down at my other buddy Seth Starnes' place in Florida, getting the suspension and getting the bike set up, and it was just so sad. Like, they were like cool dudes. Shane was such a cool guy. He shared the namesake with a buddy of mine, Shane Richardson, in Alabama, and they were palling around, and my buddy Will Posse hosted Shane and Seth when they had their bus in 2018 at his house. They hung out for like a week. Yeah,
this is a freak accident, you know. I mean, that just goes to show you like how literally like how fucking dangerous our sport really is. You know, we all take it for granted. You know, I mean, I've chucked bikes into the scenery, written them off. Andrew's probably same. You know, Ricky Bobby probably the same. Like, you know, we take it for granted. It's like, oh, you know, usually something happens, we chuck a bike down the road, we get up, dust ourselves off, and get back going again, angry that we got to fix the thing, or crying that we have to pay even more money to replace the thing, right?
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of people, the track day people included in that, don't realize sometimes like how, you know, really dangerous,
fragile. It's fragile. Life is fragile.
And like, and you do that, like this is your job, right, Andrew? Like you're a professional.
Well, it's Shane and I had the honor to share a podium with the guy and race him quite tightly. And you know, I was texting somebody after the incident, and you know, I think that's the one drawback to the tight racing that we see, specifically in BSB. But I mean, you saw it in Moto 3. There was an incident that happened, and same thing with Moto 2, where I think anytime you have 10 bikes occupying about a second of racetrack,
right?
I mean, something goes bad, it happens fast. And so yeah, it's the unfortunate reality of what we do. I mean, you know, we're fortunate enough that it doesn't happen more often, but when it does happen, it's quite sobering for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't even have words for that. You know, I mean, the last big one I can think of, and I was there, was the Laguna one.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, a start incident is always, I mean, that's the biggest risk, I think. You know, stalling on the grid. Kyle Wyman stalled on, I think, was it race 2, the first start. I mean, we're lucky that something didn't happen then too, right? So, I think with racing, there were always, the probabilities are high, and so the fact that we don't see it more, I think we should be grateful for that. And we enjoy a lot of great racing. And
yeah, we do. So, and you know, safety tech has come a long way. You know, everybody's wearing. I mean, you're wearing an airbag now, right?
Yep.
About everybody in the grid's wearing airbag technology, and you know, the bikes all have all the nanny shit, right? We get away with murder on the things now that would have put us on our faces 10 years ago, right? So, you know, but the reality is, even with all the nanny shit and all the safety tech, the danger is still there.
Yeah.
So, we have to respect that, and you know, keep doing it, right? Like, we know the risks and accept the risks and are aware of the risk and have to be aware of the risks. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's all that needs to be. Yeah. Pour one out for the homies, right?
Yeah,
dude.
Good dude. Good dude.
Yeah, good people. So, all right, let's get back into Andrew action.
Yeah.
Did you catch any of the other races while you were out there, or are you just like wrapped up in your own stuff?
I'm mostly wrapped up in my own stuff, but I watched a little bit of the Superbike stuff. I mean, Bobby had a great weekend, so you know.
Dude, that KG shit, like that guy, he's dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we got to interrupt that guy so he doesn't keep getting on a roll. But I think Bob's getting close.
Yeah. I think we're gonna roll into Road America next, and I think Heron's gonna do pretty well there.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a hard one.
Yeah, I think has Yamaha done well there in the past? I feel like they've kind of been up there fighting either way. So
Heron dominated last year.
He did.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the situation, you know, Heron's riding well. You know, it looked like his bike was maybe not there. Like his bike looked pretty violent on the racetrack. And you know, I think he said it on the podium, but he was talking about how it's hard to ride at that pace with the bike doing that for the whole thing. You know, And I can only imagine. I mean, I was watching Uribe riding that thing, and Heron's bike looked worse than that. So I'm sure that kind of wears you out.
Yeah.
But that dude, he doesn't look like he's sending it in, chuck into the scenery kind of vibes anymore. Like Heron seems cool with, if he has to, he'll finish third. Like somehow that dude kind of has developed a way to like find his way to be willing to take second or third. And
I say this like partly kidding, but I also think I'm serious about it, where he had a kid, he's a dad now.
Oh, that's a good point.
I think your perspective changes a lot. Somebody without a kid saying that, but
yeah,
but he's about to have 3.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. I guess like he was talking about that on the podium, right? Like he was talking about he's got twins on the way. Like,
yeah,
like around the next round. It's like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's gonna make that.
Probably changes it a little bit for him, mindset wise, at least.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. He gets 2/3, right? He's still within the hunt, and then he's got a racetrack that he knows he can do really well at, and he's gonna make Cam push this time.
Well, I mean, I think what I think is great this season is that everybody's healthy. So, I mean, it looks like Jake's pretty close to being 100, I guess. I don't know. I mean, he looks like Jake. Like he has like glimpses of like that character that we know. Bobby's fired up and super hungry, wanting to battle.
Dude, just seeing him in the pit.
Cambobier's on the roll. I mean, having all the hitters all healthy, and dude, honestly, Ben Smith is like, dude, he's like right there.
Yeah.
Don't forget SDK.
Yeah, I was about to say those M4 bikes.
You know what? The M4 bikes, I mean, I told Chris in the pits when we were talking, right? When we were walking and talking.
Yeah.
And I walked up to Chris and I was like, dude, I'm so stoked to see you guys finally got your shit together.
Well, and what did he say? He goes, you know what? It took me about 3 years to move all the pieces around to finally get the right.
Yeah, putting the right people in the right places. Superbike's a different animal than racing a stock bike thing. And, with all the data and all the control, the data, the electronics have over the bikes. And, it just takes the right kind of people and the right riders, quite frankly, right?
Yeah.
So, SDK, man, like that dude's probably going to get a W at some point on the Suzuki. And it's just going to be like mind blowing. It's like, dude,
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more than one this year. I mean, the fact that he came out of the gate at Barber was strong.
Yeah.
I mean, he led sessions at Atlanta, which I don't know if it's historically been a strong track for the team, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see some big scraps. SDK, I mean, the guy's fit. He's always going to be there at the end of the race. So I think he's going to put us on the edge of our seats for sure at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chunky Buns says it here in the comments, but she says M4 needed somebody who was more focused on results than bullshit. Rider choice is definitely on point this season. I agree with that. I mean, dude, Richie Escalante is an absolute lunatic on a motorbike, and SDK is hungry as shit, and angry probably for not keeping the ride he was on. So
yeah, because he was very successful on that package.
Yeah, he was.
So
Sean Summers says he's hungry.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch on TV. Could you see the SBU hot pit box tent thing on TV?
Wow, that thing's intense.
Yeah, dude. Did you guys go up there? Check it out.
No, I walked by on like I think I didn't see it on Thursday, and then first thing I noticed on Friday was the penthouse suite on Hot Pit, and I was
like,
yeah, dude, I went up there. It's pretty cool.
I went up there and panned the camera around a little bit.
Oh, did you? You got to go up there?
Yeah, of course. It's me, right? Of course, I'm gonna go up and get up in Freddie's face and be like, "Bro." Yeah. Tim, the SBU thing, like you said, it is crazy. 2-story pit box, dude, and scaffolding head on. I mean, You could do jumpa jacks in that thing and be good to go. You could probably have a bunch of people. I don't know what the limit of people is. I don't know if Freddie's going to allow it to find out, but yeah, you can have some heads up there for sure.
Well, yeah, and you had that one-off ride at Barber with the super fancy Kawasaki that Freddie had built with all the World Superbike crap on there, and then it was like, oh, can't race it.
Yeah, you got the wrong trans. You got the wrong trans.
Yeah. Short-lived.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's get into it, man, because Dustin and I were watching you after you guys come up the hill and turn 5, and we're watching you guys, and we're watching the stalker in action, man. That was dude, take us through your race, man. We want to hear all about it.
We saw you reel him in at the top of the hill before that last set of rights, before the back straight. We saw you line it up, and we're like, oh shit, Andrew's gonna get him on this lap watch. And sure enough, you did. Talk us about your stalking procedure.
Yeah. So
technique.
From
plan.
There's a backstory. So I mean, from basically 2017 or 2016, the first sector of that track has been just my nemesis. I've never gone there and been like, yeah, I've nailed that sector. For my first pro race, I high-sided in turn 2 to when I won my championships. I was always weak at the bottom of the hill. So as much as a racer, you want to grow. At some point, you just kind of got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, well, the cards that we have right now aren't necessarily sector 1. So I pushed so hard in 2 and 3, like 11 tenths, so hard. And unfortunately for me, Jason rode really well in sector 1. Right. So every single lap, it was just kind of like this yo-yo effect where he'd pull me out in 1, and I'd have to kind of charge in 2 and 3. And I knew that we didn't have lappers because of the red flags. So 8-lap race, I knew that we wouldn't have to deal with it. I could kind of leave it to the last lap. The only thing that matters is leading to the lines. So don't have to lead extra laps. And I just I had a goal with about 2 to go to just kind of stay in the draft and, be there. And then I made a mistake in 5 on that last lap. And so mentally, it was kind of this, I went over and kind of got out of the seat, and it didn't look, I watched it on camera, and I'm calling myself, a sissy because you don't see it on camera, but it was enough to kind of make it so I couldn't drive up over the top of 5. So charging 6, charging 7, get back in the draft, and he pulls out left into the bottom of the hill. And so I couldn't go. I was going to try to go around the outside of him into 10. You don't see that happen a lot. And so obviously it didn't happen with me either. And held on to 10A, tried to get a drive out of B. And he got such a good drive. And it was kind of a surprise. And so again, I kind of like wrote myself out of it because he had almost 2 bikes going up over the top. But I just came over the top and I was like, I'm just going to release the lever, see what happens. I wanted to be aggressive. I haven't been that close to winning in a long time. And so as a racer, I really wanted it bad, but I wasn't going to put myself in a position to take my teammate out. So it was kind of this controlled risk. And as I dive bombed him a little bit, I saw him release the lever and come straight back around the outside of me. And I was like, crap. Like I was hoping it would be a little bit different, but the drag race to the line, I was like, I thought he was going to get it. So was a little emotional when I crossed the line. So it was a really cool feeling.
It was epic.
We saw you come up and you had your head down as you were going up through 5 into 6, and we were like, dude, he is definitely balling in there because we know it's like,
There's I mean, I don't know how many riders really ever talk about it, but so I worked with Chuck Graves a while ago, And one of the things that he told me that sticks to me to this day was basically I was dealing with a team owner situation, and he confronted me and was like, hey, the reason you got brought on and hired by this team is because of the rider you are. And so a lot of times that, you get under this canopy, and a lot of times people look at you and say, hey, my bike's the best thing you'll ever ride. It's capable of winning races, even though it hasn't, but it's capable. You just have to ride it the right way. And
Right.
so I've been hearing that. So I ran my own program in 18 and 19. So it's like the only person that would tell me that is me.
Right.
And so from that point on, I didn't run my own program. And, you kind of get told the same thing over and over enough to where it's like you start to believe it, where it's like, hey, ride the bike harder, ride it this way. And they start telling you how to do your job. You start believing that you're not good enough. And I think that's kind of been the last few years for me where it's kind of been difficult. And the Orange Cat team has not been that. It's been super refreshing where I think I have a little bit of an unorthodox setup and riding style in a way. And so when I come in and do my debriefs, I share the same crew chief as Jason too. So we have one crew chief under the canopy. And
does he have like a different logbook for you, and you don't share data? You have a wall up?
No,
guys
no,
hey, man.
no. We get along really well. Kirk, I feel bad for his brain because he's got to deal with my debrief, and then he goes over to Jason and has a separate debrief with him. But we look for different things out of the package, and he's able to supply us with both, the right changes. And so this is like the first time, and since I ran my own program, where somebody's willing to bend over backwards to put something underneath me to get the best results. So
That's like amazing. Like the kid actually does have heart.
yeah. Yeah. So
right?
No, it's really cool.
That's neat, man. Is there like, do you guys collaborate at all? Like, are you guys comparing notes and you're like, hey man, how are you getting in there? So, are you guys sharing stuff, and maybe you guys have a completely different style of riding, but is there something that you or he does that the other rider sees in the data and can benefit from, or is it just
a little bit? We haven't really been in a position where we have to require a lot of debrief on rider stuff. We kind of stick to our own programs in that sense. Gearing wise, we'll kind of collaborate on, but our application of brake process and throttle application, we're significantly different in that manner. So I think it's kind of like our TC maps and everything. It's substantially different. So a lot of our rider stuff is, it would almost muddy the water in a way where we kind of we could go down the wrong path pretty quickly.
Well, seeing how advanced are the electronics there? Seeing comparing it to the Superbikes, obviously, Superbikes, it's like, dude, they can control just about everything on the bike per corner. I need a little bit. They get out the track map. I need a little bit more wheelie control right there. I want to be on I want to have more power from here. Like how modular or whatever is your electronics package? Like how?
I mean, for a stock bike, it's pretty intense, I would say. I haven't ever been behind the scenes and looking at the computer so much. I more so look at throttle app and where I can improve. I love looking at rider data. But
brake pressure.
I'm a big brake pressure guy. Yep, like to look at that. Yeah.
Okay. How much? How many bar of pressure are you throwing down?
I think I'm just shy of 15.
15 bar.
Yeah.
Dude, that's pretty healthy, dude. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so, but on the rider aid stuff, it's funny because we had a test recently where we were actually able to test in the rain, and so we're going out there, and my data guy or electronics guy, Mike, he was like, hey, what do you like to see out of your rain setup? And I was like, I don't know, take a couple turns of preload out and we'll just kind of see how it goes. And he's like, yeah, but mapping and what else. And I was like, I've never had a different rain map. I've literally just we turn a rain light on and we go ride. And so he kind of looked at me like I was, yeah. So there's definitely, we have 4 different modes that we can change through. We're dry 1, 2, wet, and intermediate. So we can kind of have different torque maps and stuff in that sense. But beyond that, I'm not really sure.
Like, and how, I know the Superbikes from dry to wet setup is pretty dramatic. Like, how crazy is the setup change for you guys?
Well, now it was it's soft. Yeah, we do a lot of soft suspension, but electronics wise, I keep it pretty close for the most part. I don't I like to have a lot of control in my throttle hand. If I feel like I have to turn the throttle more than what I feel like it should be, it messes with my head more. So I don't want to keep waiting for the throttle. So I like, so when I was running my ZX10, it was always 1-to-1. So I had no different progression.
Yeah, 1-to-1. That's genius.
Yeah. So I always ran it just straight. So it's like, if I'm asking for 70% throttle on the edge of the tire, it's probably for a reason. And so, so I've always done it that way, and it worked back then, but I'm a little bit different now. So
plus also, I mean, compare the time that you won the championship in that class. Can you talk to us a little bit about like the level of competition in the class now versus then?
Yeah, I think from the year 1 of Stock 1000, I look back at the results and it's like we only had 10 people in the class. I mean, the top 5 were always like pretty competitive guys, but I mean, we have 40 guys or 40 plus people registering for a race now, and I'd argue that maybe Stock 1000 is the most desirable class to race in, without being on a super hooligan. And I think the super sport class is kind of going, pretty intense with
baby Superbike.
Baby Superbike. And so I think Stock 1000 is kind of special in that sense, where you can kind of just show up on a decent package and go racing.
I.e. Jordan Eubanks and his vintage R1.
The vintage R1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had the
vintage
white
sticker anyway.
Yeah, vintage sticker. No, but it was it was
there was a dude that had a 2015 R1 out there.
Matt Spinak.
Yeah, Matt Spinak had the 2015 R1 out there. Somehow I guess they gave him a waiver or whatever to let him run that thing, but 10-year-old bike in Stock 1000, and he wasn't. I don't think he was last.
Nope,
right?
He was not. He was second.
He was in a mix.
Yeah,
he was in a mix though. Like he was kind of. It was like that back 5 dudes.
Yeah. I guess there's some talk about who's in the cat suit, and apparently some people think it's Brendan Kettleson.
Dude, that would be a good role for him on the team, actually. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, he's got matching hair and everything. Like, probably a perfect size.
Yeah, right. I don't know if Brendan would fit in it, man. The kid's like 6'4".
Oh, dude, every time I see him, he keeps like, I don't know if he got a tapeworm or something, or the opposite of that. I don't know. How's that work?
Yeah, it wasn't him. Maybe I'm gonna be sly and just keep that one a secret.
Oh, it's
all
good.
right.
Is that
all right.
Who's in the orange cat suit? That's like the Stig.
Yeah, the Stig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll have to text David that.
Yeah.
Dave's probably watching this crap. Make sure Andrew doesn't say the wrong shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a
that team's all corporate. The team's all corporate.
Dave's like the least corporate dude with his hair and everything.
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then there's some other comments coming in too. Cody Krager was saying that the corner workers in 10B, I guess are a couple of his buddies, and one of them was saying that most of the Superbike guys just whack the throttle and have the electronics do everything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're for.
Superbike, dude.
I saw another question about Road America being. Somebody asked how different is Road America.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's a unique track for sure. Just even in the sense of the world.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I would say, it has a little bit of everything where you got a couple change of directions that are pretty quick, man. That turns 7 or 8 or whatever, that off camber carousel.
Coming up under the bridge, and then you hang a right.
That left, right, but actually
Yeah.
the carousel at the bottom of the hill, that's gnarly. And I think you could see some pretty cool stuff in that corner that you don't really see elsewhere, where people driving around the outside. I forgot who did that. I think it was last year. Was it Heron?
Yeah.
Like you see some really cool stuff through that corner, and even going on the front straightaway, that hill's more gnarly than it looks like. Going up over that crest, especially on the thousands, that thing just wants to wheelie hard.
Would you, I've heard a lot of riders over the last couple of years refer to Road Atlanta as Arm Pump City. Would you consider that an accurate statement?
I got arm pump on Sunday. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
It's definitely the problem is at the bottom of the hill, you just G out so hard, and you're still changing directions while trying to get to full throttle on the 1,000. You've got a lot going on. So yeah, it's definitely. I think especially on the 1,000s, every track's physical. Personally, I mean Laguna.
But specifically, like I heard multiple riders referring to that as Arm Pump City, that particular track.
Yeah, I think it's the nature of the bottom of the hill.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the second half of the track, I would say, is pretty easy. I mean, right, long straightaway, left, right, over a hill, right-hander, and do a decent straightaway. It's the up over the crest where you're kind of having to push the bike down and make the decision: do you change your butt on the side of the seats, or do you push and pull the bike? And no matter how you cut it, that's physical.
Yeah.
I know coming up through turn 1 and then going through 2, 3, 4, then the S's and into 5 for me has always been a struggle trying to get through the chicane, flipped over to the left, and then kind of getting the bike around. Now Jeff May talked on our last podcast. He purposefully high sides the bike as he goes into the chicane. High sides the bike just to get it to flip over to the left to go down the hill.
I'm going to let him do that.
I say I don't want to do all of that. Yeah, he's got this thing that none of us mortals have. Talent. Right?
Yeah.
Man.
No, that sounds intense. I don't.
Yeah. So do you think Tim Powers Pull? Why did I say that?
No, not because
Tim P. So Tim P says he likes the rain one day, dry the next. What do you think of that program? How about all the rounds? One day wet, one day dry. Let's have it.
No. I like one or the other. I guess, I could do it. Yeah, that's fine. Give me a rain day. I like the rain. Yeah.
Well, you guys got awesome weather.
Yeah, we got so lucky. It's funny because Saturday night, I'm sitting in the hotel lobby, and I'm getting tornado warnings. And I'm like, what is happening?
It was, I was staying over at Jeff May's house, and we're watching a movie, and then you hear like the thunder and the wind, and we're looking outside like, what the hell is going on out there? It was calm like 30 minutes ago, and then bam.
Yeah, Eric Davis says we should just have all rain all the time. He's on our team, so like our bikes are our bikes work pretty well in the wet. So if every round was all wet, we'd be dialed. Right?
Oh man. So you were on the
sport at all, or
I had a question about going from the Moto Exotica bike last year to this year. Last year you were kind of more like P4 to P7, 8, and then now it's like boom, lights out. You're right there. And I know the Orange Cat team 2 years ago with Caleb and Ezra, Ezra won his first race, and it was like dude's on fire on that bike. So tell us.
Yeah. I think the cool thing I would say about Orange Cat is how invested they are in their riders. If I said I wanted to run the forks upside down, they're going to figure out a way to do it. Whatever it takes to win is what they will do. And so I think that's an ultimate position to be in as a rider is if they come to you and say, hey, we want you to do better, how can we help facilitate that result? And we have a good technical staff. I mean, we're working really close with Olins, and we have Megan Ryan. She is so fun to work with. So it's fun because like we'll do debriefs, and so we have Mike, our electronics guy. We'll have Kirk, my crew chief, and then Megan, and we'll all sit in there. And the way that they kind of communicate is it's super it's very analytical, where it's like they're just bouncing different equations off of each other, and they work really closely that way. And they'll ask me for insight. And the way that the debrief works, I haven't been in a position where we have had so much brain power in one room. And
sounds like it's like almost like a Superbike team.
it's just a lot of focus. Yeah. And I think that that's where I'm just super fortunate to have this position, and I think Jay would say the same. So I think that the difference from last year to this year is that they're super willing to do something that's just not normal. And I think that's it's the same thing where it's like if you look at World Superbike, that maybe when Top Rack got on the World Superbike, they try to put them in a box and say, hey, this is how the BMW likes to be ridden. And it's like, well, I need it differently.
You need the Top Rack factor.
And then everyone else kind of rose to his level.
Right.
I'm not by any means comparing myself to him, but I think that my riding style is a little bit unorthodox for the BMW, and the team has just kind of put a bike under me that works in that manner. So I think that's kind of the bit.
So another question. I follow you on social media, so I saw that you were in Spain testing on the BMW. Did they get you pretty much the same bike, and then you were just going out there and like how did that all transpire? I was curious how that happened.
Yeah, so I mean, we work pretty closely with Alpha, and obviously they're based in Germany. So before we got our bikes to race this year, we figured it would be probably a smart thing to go ride them before we try to import them to America. So we just had a couple of days just to shake down.
A couple of days. Go shake down. Just a couple of days,
Yeah. So it was just a good chance to kind of shake down the bikes and make sure that everything ran right, and just give us good spot to kind of start the season off.
Where did you guys ride at?
Valencia. And so it's funny because I mean, we've all been fans of MotoGP for the longest time, and I mean, is it on the top of either of your guys' list if you said, hey, I want to go ride a GP track? Is it Valencia?
No.
Neither was it. Nowhere even near the top 5 for me. Boy, was I poorly mistaken.
Really?
Oh my God. Like that track.
Spill the tea, dude.
So you walk into the facility, and it's literally it's as close to being in an NFL stadium as you can be for motorsports.
It looks like it.
All like the whole back section is just a big stadium where everything's on a hillside, and so from pit lane on top of the stands, you could see the entire racetrack. The only time that you miss somebody is going through the turn 10, the fast rights where people usually crash in testing, or the slow, like where they kind of hook back. That's the only spot, and it's only because they're behind hedges. But you could see the entire racetrack for the whole duration. So
that's awesome.
The fact that that's the last round,
great for fans.
Yeah, the fact that that's the last round for GP historically, that makes a ton of sense. But that front straightaway, I think I was doing like a 182 into the turn 1. Turn
Wow.
1's fast. You rip into turn 2, then it stops, and then you start building up again, and you're drifting through 3 and flick it into 4, and it's just like there's a lot of different stuff going on. Super physical, and that last corner, obviously going up over the top of the hill. I was saying, like, on an old tire, man, you feel like a superhero where you're just coming up over the top and you're just sliding sideways, not going forward, but felt pretty sick.
That's awesome.
Probably look cool too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Actually
not me,
entertaining.
Jason for sure looked cool over it. I just looked like some guy going out there trying to get his milk cartons.
Boring.
Yeah. But
That's
no, it's
so
definitely a cool track.
Dude,
That's
like
awesome.
what he's saying too, like he's not like I rode behind him, back in the day when we were doing the Chuck Waller thing, and dude, I'd be behind him, and he's just looked like he's, we'd ramp into it, we'd roll out. I think our first laps would be like a 50, and I'm just kind of, oh shit, I'm like right behind Andrew. I'm just gonna, I'm just kind of like chilling. Next thing I know, I'm looking at my timer, 48.0, 48.0. I'm like, what the hell? Dude, seriously, like it's your fault that I got to where I was, because I could just camp out and just kind of like, it totally relaxed me. It was like, how do you ride that way, dude? It's not even fair.
Yeah, the funny thing is I try so hard.
You're not a firefighter. You're not a firefighter on the bike at all.
No. Yeah, I'm closer to
no drama.
No drama. I try to do something a little bit more entertaining on the bike, and then I just feel like I'm going to fall off the inside of it. So I'm going to stick to what I'm good at. Which is not that.
Yeah. It's very cool to watch. The way you methodically ramp your pace up. You don't. It's like I'm sure you're still the same way, but you don't go out and send it right away. You just kind of creep into it, and it's just like boom, 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 quicker. Super methodical, like kind of nerdy. It's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy to think because I don't have a brain. So the fact that kind of, people are like, oh, you're a smart rider. Is like, not a person, but maybe a rider. Yeah.
You're like, bro, I race motorbikes. Calm down.
Wow. So Ashton got a couple podiums, and then JD was pretty much right behind him the whole time, which I was pretty impressed with Ashton's level. He definitely stepped it up quite a bit. Like,
I'm impressed with the Honda's level, to be honest with you. Just how good that thing is so early in the development of that thing. I mean, those things are fast.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, the Hondas they're a solid platform. I mean, Hayden proved it last year, and then Ashton's been on it a few years. I've been racing him since 19. Ashton's a great rider to ride around. Like he passed me in race 1 into 5, which is a spot you don't really ever see happen.
Oh,
and then he did the same thing to JD and almost lost the front. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he completely folded the front, and I was like, oh my god. The fact that he kept that up was, hats off to that guy. Like he rides hard.
Yeah.
And
another guy mentioned in the comments, Gabe De Silva, the Jarritos. I grabbed one, and it took me all weekend to drink it. So those things are like, dude, I don't even want to talk about how much sugar. And dude, it's like literally sugar, and then they splash some coloring and some water in there and some carbonation and mix it up, and that's it. So it's like it took me like 4 days to drink one of those things. But man, I tell you what, such a nice guy. But this year he's nowhere near where he was last year. I don't know what's
he's not on a Honda.
Oh, there.
Yeah,
he's on a Gixxer.
Completely different bike.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about his program. I know he's on the Gixxer Thou. I saw them doing stickers on Thursday, so I don't know how much time he really has on that thing.
Yeah.
Not a lot, because he was riding a Honda at Barber. So.
Oh, was he really? Okay, yeah. So, no, I think Gabe's a great rider. I've not done a lot with or in and around him. Yeah. I mean, Barber last year, that guy showed up. Like, he was ready to party.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you want to talk about the last, the super sport class at all?
Yeah.
Did you watch any of that, dude?
Well, I did. I watched
Did you, Andrew?
I did not watch Super Sport. I saw a few of the highlights. Race 2
Okay.
going into the bottom of the hill looked a little bit chaotic.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it looks like the Strack team is really solid, but it also looks like, PJ's throwing it in there as well. So it's good to see PJ getting in there and taking some shots,
He's leading in the points.
Yeah, well, last year, I had him pick to win the thing till Matty showed up. I didn't know he was coming, and then, he did what he did, right? Dude, is there a more intense dude in a race than Matt Skoltz? I don't think so. That dude's kind of scary, right?
I'm
Holy
glad I don't
shit.
race him.
You're glad you don't race him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's legit. Yeah. I mean, that super sport class. I mean, the R9s look pretty strong.
Dude, Jake Lewis running
Yep.
up front.
Yeah. Jake
Speaking of,
yeah,
Steve Main's in the chat.
Yeah, buy a jet from Steve Main, everybody.
Yeah.
He's one of the Altus sponsors.
Yep.
Yeah.
I met Steve when I filled in for Altus 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So no, I think the super sport class is something special right now. I think Blake Davis is gonna go out there and win a couple races, and Maddie, of course, and PJ, and
The old man.
Corey. I mean, don't put it past Kayla.
The 50-year-old dude.
Yep. Yeah. Right. So
you got the one Gen X guy in the field. Yeah. It's pretty impressive. The M4 guys are a little bit off in super sport for whatever reason, which is kind of strange because like super sport's kind of been their bread and butter forever.
Mm-hmm.
But looks like Chris has got a massive focus in Superbike, and now he's got to do that same focus on the other side of the tent, maybe, and they'll be in the mix. Tyler Scott and who's the other guy on that team? I don't even remember.
Max Van.
That's right, Max Van on the Suzuki. Yeah,
he did great. Short
shorts himself.
Yeah,
right?
He did really good.
Is anybody scarier to ride with than Matt Skoltz? Does anybody walk around the paddock in shorter shorts than Max Van?
The Harley mechanics, because that dude's quads were massive. That dude's quads were massive. He was just walking around.
Man.
Like, who is this guy?
Dude, so funny, man. And then Altus has that strange situation where it's one team and two guys on the team are on one brand and the other two guys are on another. Suzuki and Yamaha. So, have you seen anything like that ever before, Andrew?
I don't recall off the top of my head. Have you?
No, dude. Never.
Yeah. It's a little unorthodox, but I think it's kind of cool because if Owen and Torn are on the Gixxers, so or GSXRs.
Yeah.
We can say Gixxers. It's fine, dude. Everybody knows what that meant.
I read BMWs. Technically, I could just say
Beamer.
The other brand.
You read Beamer.
Yeah. But
Gixxers, Beamers.
I think the cool thing with the team is that they could work together on two sides because Jarrett and Jake can work on the R9s together, and if ultimately the other two riders go to the R9 platform, I think right now they're just kind of outnumbered in the sense of availability. But I think they could work together, and it's almost like two separate teams. So I think that's kind of cool.
Well, I think from what George was saying is that Torin, they bought that bike and they're just having the Altus guys there to work on the bike, but they got to kind of, it's just like a supported thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to look out of curiosity. So last year to this year, Supersport race time was 14 or 18 seconds faster.
Wow.
This year.
No,
this year was
18 seconds faster than last year.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That means the competition is just bunch of axe murderers in that class. I mean, you in that class, let's just off the top of my head, right? I mean, obviously you got Maddie and you got Blake, you got
TJ,
Kayla, you've got all
Corey.
dudes, right? You got
Corey.
Corey Alexander, who unfortunately hurt himself on the arch thing. That guy's an axe murderer in that class. I mean, dude, it's like there's like 10 dudes at least that like on any given day could be on the top of the box.
It's stacked her.
Yeah.
Dude, that class is stacked as shit. It's like, oh my god, dude. Like,
well, same as stock 1000.
Lunatics, man, just lunatics, absolute murderers.
No,
so
it's intense. I think it's really cool. The fact that many different brands could be at the front of that.
Yeah,
I think that's the appeal. And I mean, you touched on it with World Supersport. You got Triumph, Yamaha, Ducati,
MV Augusta,
MV. Yeah, and so I think that's kind of the neat thing about the class.
Yeah, the MV Augusta here isn't close to the front yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. I know Melissa's crew over there. They're working their asses off to make the thing happen.
Yeah.
But like the talent pool there is just so deep, dude. Like it's like axe murder after axe murder after axe murder, like nonstop, like into the top 15 almost, right? Like shit. So
yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, Eric's wanting to know what Bobby's shirt says, and there you go.
We have tacos tonight, so.
Oh, Cody Krager says, would it be faster than last year if the Superbike riders weren't in it? Hey, Cody, just a heads up. Last year, Superbike riders were in it. The same ones.
Yep.
Just a heads up.
Well, Blake Davis did a 28.5, which was still faster than last year's fastest lap.
There you go.
So there you go. That kid's, speaking of killer.
We switched on, dude. We've had him on the show a little bit, and he's Southern as shit. So it's like, I love this kid, right? Like everything he says, he's just like, well, man. I'm like, oh shit, And so like he's talking about how at the beginning of the races, like one of the things he's struggled with is like getting up the pace, like right now.
Yeah.
And like he would kind of struggle in qualifying and kind of be on the third row or whatever at the start, and then have to work his way back up to get to the front after the start. But now the kid like comes out the gate swinging.
Yep.
Like he's in the front, top 3 dudes pretty much every session almost, right? So,
Yeah, I know he's been working on that.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool how switched on that dude is. And oh look, we got Irate Berry in the chat. Ricky Bobby, he wants Irate Berry wants to know if you're gonna do the dirty porn stash for the next weekend hangover.
Maybe. If I got reserve duty and I got to shave, I might keep it. We'll see what the wife says. She hates it, so.
The porn stash?
Yeah. Every mustache march for
I think we
for
should
Air Forces.
At some point, we should both of us should rock the porn stash for the weekend hangover.
Right.
I mean, why can't you, right? I mean, that's part of the appeal.
Yeah, I mean, Will Morton on our team talks about how his facial hair is his source of power.
Yeah, dude, that mustache is
I've never seen that guy without it.
Oh, dude. When I grew my beard out last year, he was like, and I shaved it off, he's like, dude, you gave up your power.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Powers in the beard. I do have to give one shout out to my buddy Matt Pataka, who raced Hooligans, got a 9th in Hooligans on Sunday because his first year, and he's on the MT09. I hooked him up with Chuck, and Chuck's been feeding him some good parts, and I was really proud of him, man. That was a big deal. But
how about Hawk Mazada finishing where he did with a broken leg?
Yeah,
I saw that guy walking around the paddock on Sunday.
Oh.
Hats off to him, man. I was like, because I saw his announcement before the race weekend, so I just kind of wrote him off. I was like, oh, he's out. He's out, I thought. And I just saw him walking around the pits. I was like, oh, he must have already had his flight booked, so he's just here. And then I look at the sheets, and he's like top 10. I was, what?
Yeah, dude. Top 10 with a broken leg. That, you know what? If we want to talk about some Pridmore shit, that is Pridmore shit right there.
Yeah,
Right? Like
absolutely.
JP was the guy, the epitome of the guy racing broken. You know?
Yeah, it's not something you necessarily want to be known for, but yeah, no, it's
Right?
no, I'm that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. And then, you know, we touched on it on that particular class earlier, the baggers thing. I don't think either of us mentioned the fact that a MotoGP, a
Yeah.
former MotoGP
Morris
guy, and a
Bads.
former World Superbike guy were
Yep.
in that class, and Australian Superbike champ. And like, it's like the talent in that class is going up, even though the number of bikes in the
Two
class
former MotoGP guys.
isn't the number of bikes in the class isn't still, it's still not where maybe it should be for the amount of effort going in, but dude, like there's some hitters in that thing. So for K Dubs to throw down like he does against that kind of pool,
I don't think Kyle Wyman gets the love that I feel he deserves. I mean,
yeah,
he goes out there, and it doesn't matter who's. You could put Marquez on an Indian, and
yeah.
Kyle's gonna throw
As
down.
long as he's on an Indian instead of a Harley, right?
Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, dude, they're doing 29s.
Yeah. Super.
They might even done a 28. Like,
yeah,
it's. I think
Insane.
Kyle deserves a little bit more love. I think that people look past him frequently, and yeah, it's. I mean, all of those guys, like Troy, all of them. It's good racing to watch for sure.
Yeah,
Loris
Loris
did great in the wet.
and he's just stoked to be racing, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Realistically, like that dude's just stoked to be racing. You know, it is what it is. He wants to race anything. He's a competitive dude. So
Yeah.
Well, I'll bring up on the Crash Moto
Linder
Crash Net that they were talking about, you know, Loris winning a bagger race, and people were kind of shitting on it. And I was like,
yeah,
dude's getting paid. Like,
yeah,
he's racing, and it's not easy to race that bike. And you know, we had a chat because you know, Dustin was talking about break glass in case of emergency. Brandon Posh was drinking beer on Friday and hanging out, and he brought his stuff, and lo and behold, he's got an Indian ride on Cam P's bike.
Yeah.
And and I was talking to Chris Ulrich, and he goes, yeah, they came by the trailer asking if we still had numbers, and he went in the box, and they still had the numbers from the Superbike, so they slapped them on the side of the bagger. And he ended up getting a podium, I think.
Yeah. And, you know, I talked to, speaking of baggers also, like I've seen it in the chat mentioned, but like Rocco had a pretty big off in the baggers. And, you know, I talked to him, and he was struggling on the 1,000. And he straight up just told me, he's like, dude, I need to learn how to ride one of these. It's like different. I'm like, well, dude, how about you point the thing in the right direction and pull the trigger? You know, like that's 1,000. That's riding 1,000 in a nutshell, right? And but yeah, like I was up in the press box with Bobby Fong, and right in the middle of the interviews, we all just gasped.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, dude, that crash was so gnarly.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the fact that he walked away from that was pretty intense. That I mean, those things are heavy. So when you collide them together, it's, you know, the results are never grand.
Right. Right. And look at that. Daniel Goodnight's in the chat thanking me for the Gagne knee slider. Look at that.
Yeah.
he said his kid slept the whole ride home clutching it. The Gagne knee slider.
That's awesome.
That's Ricky Bobby and I were, when we were doing that hillside thing, like I had all these Gagne number plates. Jake, like before I left the pit, I was like, hey Jake, can you like sign these all real quick? And he just banged them out. Just like, he's like, it's just like a squiggle and like a kind of a 32. And just like banged them out. So
yeah, Dustin and I set up going up the hill from turn 1 into turn 2. We were just kind of in the grass, and we are just kind of like, I brought a table, we put the grow pose up, and I brought my 2 mics and a recorder, and then we synced everything up, and we just went at it and just bringing people over and having
It'll
a good
be on
time.
YouTube when I eventually get to edit it, but I'm working on the other project right now.
It was fun. It was fun. A lot of there was the one guy who had just got off the 2-up ride and he rode a Triumph Tiger.
The guy was walking around with a suit on still, like a Pop Warner kid that had just got his shoulder pads, right? Yeah.
And we bring him over and we're like, hey, so, what are you doing here? What'd you ride here? And he's like, oh, Triumph Tiger. We're like, oh, so you got leathers on still. Like, what are you doing with the leathers? He's like, oh, I just got off the 2-up ride. We're like, oh, tell us how that went. And, he was just like, it was amazing. So, well, in a southern draw because he was from North Carolina, but
that dude was southern as shit too.
Yeah. But he was all about it. He said
that dude eats collard greens and grits, dude, for sure.
That's funny. He said it scared the shit out of him, and he was just trying everything to hold on. Chris was just.
That's a track on a 2-up ride that would absolutely blow your mind.
Yeah,
I couldn't even imagine.
You do a lot of coaching, right? Do you do 2-ups? Are you one of those guys?
I've only done a 2-up once, and it was by accident. So no, I'm not a big 2-up guy.
Okay.
By accident? Like somebody crashed into you and then fell onto your bike, and then you did the 2-up?
No. So I was doing a track day with some friends up at Thunder Hill, and one of my buddies was like, hey, dude, can you go ride with my son? Which I knew he had like a 400. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll go ride with him. No problem. And so he's like, yeah, just take my bike out. Okay, whatever. Like, didn't really register, and he didn't make sense to me. But his bike had the passenger seat, and so like I was like, okay. So I jumped on his bike, and his son comes over, and like he's got his gear on. He's like 6'4". He's like a high school linebacker.
So, on the back of a 400.
Yeah. No. Well, he was on a 400. I was on a Gixxer 1000, and so. He comes over with his helmet on. It's like, you ready to go? And he's like, yep, I'm ready. And he just jumps on the back of my, like, the Gixxer. And I was like, oh, we're doing a 2-up right now. I had never done one before. And so I took the guy out on a 2-up then. But, I was completely just brought back. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. So no, I don't do 2-ups.
Just don't crash. Just don't crash.
That's more of a JP category than a me category.
Yeah, I give a lot of 2-up rides, and man, like the kind of rides that I provide are not the kind of rides that Chris does at the Nationals. Like, Chris is basically like sharing the sport with the press to show them how gnarly, give them the vibes of racing Superbike, and we're like showing them where to put the bike and stuff. So
right, yeah, it's a little bit different.
It's a lot different.
Yeah,
a lot different. Plus, there's like liability and stuff. It's like, and YouTube, like you don't want to be on YouTube crashing with passenger on the back, dude. Like that's not
was it Randy Mamola crashed with somebody on the back, some like important person. I can't remember who it was, but
Russell did too.
Ooh.
Shit, I've crashed with a passenger before. I had some guy that was like one of those really aggressive guys that like can't live with the fact that he got passed by a dude with a passenger. Put a little extra risk in there. Basically, passed us on the inside for release at Miller and pushed us wide into the no man's land out there. And it's very slow speed. The guy on the back gets up. First words out of his mouth are, "What the fuck was that guy doing?" I was like, "Yeah." What he said.
Yeah, wasn't me, man. Point at him. Yeah,
dude. Man. So,
well, speaking of Scott, he was walking around the crowd. I was over at our homie Ryan Rawls at his tent set up over by the Jumbotron in 10A, and Barney was in there. Scott Russell was in there coming by. Super cool, and. The fans were great down there. High Rev Trev did a sick burnout after race 2. And we had a great time. It was a lot of fun, man. It was such a great weekend.
Yeah, man.
The fan turnout looked good from what I saw. What do you guys like walking
Like
around?
I said, dude, insane. Like, I mean, just like it seemed like double the fans from last year, easily. Like, I
I
mean,
think
I was,
MotoAmerica is doing a good job on that.
I think so too, man.
I think we're going up to another round. I mean, Road America has never had a fan base issue, and I think with the current trajectory of the sport in America,
Yeah,
that it's going to be can be intense.
yeah,
It is. You know, I think we need to bring back the fact that fans can go get drunk and have a good time and, you know, barbecue and camp at the racetrack. I think that's the appeal of it. And
yeah.
getting more people back in to the overnight activities. And
Yeah.
I think that just trying to grow the sport that way, that, I mean,
Buy a jet from Steve Mayen says that he thinks there's more fans at Road Atlanta than he's seen in 20 years.
I think it's the most I've seen since I've been going there for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there in 2020, 21, and 23, and it's definitely a lot more because I camped out in 21 and 22, and where we were in turn 3 was there were more people down there, and they had to kind of reorganize how the camping was set up, but there was a ton of people down there, and then just all on the back straight, all the campers that were up there.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think the camping to me is how we can grow the sport more. I mean, people like to take their RVs out at any excuse they can.
Yeah.
Right.
And what better place to camp than hearing motorcycles go by at 160 plus?
Yeah.
Right.
So I think we just got to keep that initiative. And I think,
right,
especially with like Road Atlanta, Barber, you have Road America, like all those are like, it's literally, it could almost be a national park. You know, it's in the woods. It's not Buttonwillow, right? Like where it's just in this flat, dry Central California.
Not a California track where they're all in shitty desert.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think
look, a Joshua tree. Where are we? Could we be a Chuck Waller, Willow, or where are we? Like,
yeah. Yeah. So somebody said Miller needs to come back, and I couldn't agree more.
I like Miller.
Miller's great, but man, the fan base, I don't even think in the prime it was good.
No,
dude,
it wasn't.
Never.
Even the World Superbike races.
I was there on World Superbike, and like you could walk around, drive in and out, no problem, like no line. You know, I mean, the reality is great of a racetrack that place is, dude. Nobody wants to go to Salt Lake, bro.
No.
You know,
well, you're only limited to a certain amount of people.
You know, fly into Salt Lake for a race. Like, you know, they'll fly into Monterey. You know,
right? Yeah. I wish the Vegas track was a little bit better because I think that's also another great opportunity for fan base draw. Like, it's like the Raiders being there.
Yeah,
everyone can fly to Vegas and be like, oh, we can make a weekend out of it.
I mean, you know, maybe with the new owners at Willow, maybe they'll bring back they'll sort out whatever they got to sort out there and bring the Nationals back to Willow. That's an hour from LA, dude.
Yeah.
Selfishly, it's like I could just bicycle there to watch the races.
Did they tear down Fontana already?
Yeah, I think so.
That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah.
That one's gone.
Well, you guys, we are an hour and 38 into this nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are. I'm not.
Yeah.
I've spent about 15 minutes eating crayons. So.
Wow. Oh, hanging out with some Marines.
So, when's your next ride?
So we're back on track at Road America. So, amped and ready for that.
Right on.
Are you guys going testing at Eli Block? Hello, sir.
Dude, I tried to scumbag his team into going to the Attack Yamaha collab on the 27th, and I was told no, because they've already got their own VIR test day later in the year, prior to VIR. So,
the next time I'm on track is we're actually testing the Light Fighter, so the electric bike. So, gonna get it. I think one day on that before Road America. So
who's faster on that bike? Do you think, you or your teammate?
Or Brendan.
So
Or
I got,
BK
yeah,
44.
yeah. So I got 2 teammates. I'm probably the slowest right now because I've got a total of 5 laps on one. So,
Oh, you know, I have the excuse book over here if you need to reference.
do you actually? Yeah. Let me see that. No,
No, there's
those things
nothing
are
in it.
those,
I was
yeah,
making up
yeah.
shit, but like,
No, those things are good, man. I've only done about 5 laps on one because we had them out at a preseason test where we were kind of breaking in the BMWs,
yeah,
and my priority was getting acquainted to the bike I was racing for the season at MotoAmerica, and not so much that bike. So,
right on.
gonna get more time on that. I mean, Brendan did 51s, I think, at Thunder Hill, which if you've ever been there, you know that's flying. So,
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
so no, it's gonna be cool to get some more laps on them for sure.
yeah. Electric bike, man. That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I'm hearing some stuff in the chat and all that. You know, obviously we're missing Stefano Mesa from the grids this season. You know, he got kind of jacked up in a Daytona crash, I think, last year. So he's
Yeah,
still dealing with
CCS.
that.
Yeah, I talked to him at the Armor Round at CMP, and he was
Yeah.
riding around, not hard, but you know he's getting paid to be there. But
Right.
yeah, he's like, dude, I'm getting shoulder surgery, so hopefully things will be healing up there shortly. But
Right.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
they were talking about missing a Cowie in Super Sport, and we all know Stefano's on the Cowie guy. So
Yeah, he's always rode that thing pretty well. So I hope he has plans to come back at least maybe later this year.
Yeah.
I mean he's got an entertaining style for sure.
oh yeah, Mighty Mouse is pretty ragged on those things, man. Even
So,
on
Bobby-
the big bike, dude.
Bobby, when's the next time you're riding? What's your next roebling excursion?
Oh, geez. My track date
geez.
is 9/23. I hope to have my bike together by June. So, Mr. Godin, hopefully we'll get some time in the doctor's office, and we'll make sure my Daytona is all back up to snuff. So,
Well,
we'll
you know
see.
what? I'm quite a bit busier than that. Like quite a bit busier than that. The 17, 18, May 17, 18, the Track Days is hosting an event at Podium Club out in
cool.
Arizona. So it's a couple of days. You know, we have split up the riding groups pretty well. So, you know, we don't have like 8 million dudes out there. So it's going to be great. We'll have to see how that goes. And then literally I'm home for a couple of days, and then me and several of the Track Days crew are getting in a truck and driving out to VIR.
You're gonna
I don't
have
know
so much
what
fun.
the hell we're thinking with that.
Have you
but
rode
I
there
think
before?
Nope.
No.
Oh, dude,
We're
you're gonna
doing-
love that track.
So we have a
You're-
track day with we're gonna do a track day with PRE. I think that's what it's right.
Monday,
PRE?
yeah, PRE. Yep.
Monday with PRE. Those dudes seem pretty cool.
Yeah. They're good dudes.
A couple of the dudes I talked to were Southern as shit too. So like I was like, yeah, dude. and then we're doing the collab event on Tuesday with Attack Yamaha. People are signing up for that. I think Chris Ulrich told me he's going to sign up all 4 of his guys to that. So that should be cool.
Nice.
And then fly back. Oh, the boys are riding the truck home after that track day. And then I get in the semi and I drive with the TAC Yamaha to Road America for the weekend.
Oh,
Right?
dude, you get some truck stop bathroom videos.
Maybe, or like how many M&Ms does Walker really consume? Right? And then I fly back from Road America, and then the following weekend we're at Button Willow Circuit.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's intense.
what the hell am I doing?
You're
And then
having fun.
also, you know what? I had a conversation with him earlier today. And Richard Stanboli from Attack Performance asked me to remind everybody that if they purchase Attack Performance parts, that they are 100% made in the USA from material. All the materials are made in the USA. So added bonus, there is no tariffs on any of that stuff. And you can buy it at this link right there. That's scrolling. Yeah. So hit up attackyamaha.com or trackdays.com. You could buy Yamaha parts from Attack through trackdays.com as well. And you can buy your American-made badassery from Attack. So,
Sean, you know that he's using worthless Gen Zers for workers.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I know, dude. He watches this crap. Man. They do too. Dude. Man. Anyway, Irate Barry said he was there when he saw you win Stock 1000 at Miller.
Yeah, we ran the East Track. Have you done the East Track there? The shorter one?
Yeah, I've done all of the loops there and the perimeter. You know, I did the champ school there in the wet on both loops. That was different.
How was the grip there in the wet?
It was, dude, we were ripping. Like, it was shocking. Like, you know, I think back then it was like the R6s with like the Dunlop Q3s maybe. And I remember we were absolutely murdering. And I was like, how the hell are we going this fast on these tires? Like, yeah. So,
no, that's
100 points of grip, all that 100 points of grip stuff they talk about in the school, that's real. Yeah. So,
well, just to be clear, I was referencing the fact that Gen Z doesn't like to work, period. And it was more to do with not having Mexicans.
Dude. Wow.
That's what the comment was. That's what he's talking about.
Dude. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Man.
Oh,
out of control. Well, that's the show, people. You know what I mean? That's what you get. You know, Andrew, appreciate you jumping in here and talking crap with us for an hour and 40 something now.
Yeah, thanks
Bob,
for having me.
I think you're getting a little hysterical. It's probably way past your bedtime.
It is way past my bedtime.
You need to have Ginny come slap you in the back of the head.
She's passed out right now, so.
Oh, well, I'll remind her tomorrow then.
Yes.
Final thoughts, Ricky Bobby. Let's sign this thing off.
Man, it was an amazing weekend. We got to see Andrew win a race. First time in 6 years. It was amazing to watch. It was great to see all the emotion. Hanging out with Dustin in person and see all our friends.
My dad.
Yeah, your dad, dude. Your dad was great. He had we got that golf cart. That was awesome to drive around in. But it was a blast. It was definitely a very memorable weekend. So really appreciate Mr. Stamboli for letting me hang out in the hospitality area and letting my daughter watch some movies while Dad talked, because she hated walking around with Dad while he talked. So
right on, man. Well, you know what? I guess we'll do. When do you think we should do the next one, dude? After Road America?
After, what are you talking about? Le Mans is this weekend.
Oh shit! Next week.
Yeah, next week.
We can do another weekend hangover next week. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this thing. Make sure you like and subscribe and share and mash all the buttons and all that crap. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
See ya.